Hello, this is Rose Diamond from Tribe in Transition, and I want to talk about today some of the transformational shifts that happen when we're going through a transition. And I want to pin that particularly to what's happening last year, what's been happening through the coronavirus pandemic. And I'm going to talk about the shifts that have been happening in my life, not because necessarily that's what's the same as been happening for you, but because I'm really wanting to get a conversation going here. Tribe in Transition is about having the conversation, sharing our different viewpoints. So I'd like to share my experience and I would love to hear yours. So the particular shift I want to talk about today is consciousness shift. So there's three particular things I want to talk about over the next 2 days. One is consciousness shift. The other is embodiment and relationship. And the third one is soul work. So consciousness shift. So it seems a long time now since the first lockdown started last March. And I am extremely privileged to live in an area of outstanding natural beauty here in Northwest Wales. And we were also extremely lucky here in the UK that very soon after lockdown started, we had a period of very unusual and prolonged, beautiful weather. It was like summer weather happening starting in April, went on for weeks. And so being here where I am, it was really quite heavenly, literally heavenly, because it was so quiet. I mean, it's quiet most of the time, but nevertheless, we get a lot of tourists here because it's, people want to come to retreat into these places of natural beauty. And normally you have a lot of tourists coming in and they bring their jet skis and their motorboats and their big cars, and, everything gets a little bit crowded and chaotic. But during the lockdown, it was extremely quiet, peaceful, utterly peaceful and beautiful, day after day. And it kind of reminded me of what it was like being a child in the 50s, when there were no cars on the roads and you could just go out and play and there was no sense of danger or that you're going to get hurt by anything. It was a time of innocence, and that was the consciousness shift that I was in at that time. And what happened for me then was that I fell in love more deeply with the earth than ever before. I've always loved the earth, I've always loved nature, but it was a deeper connection that I experienced, because I felt like I was really connecting with not only with the benign aspect of nature, which was smiling on us, but I felt I was connecting with the intelligence of nature. I felt like I was connecting with a deep trust in life, a deep trust that even though humanity obviously can't be trusted, just have a look around at what's happening. We cannot be trusted, but life can be trusted. Life is what I realize is that life is the bigger playing out of life is so much bigger than my tiny puny little mind or yours. And I think that put everything into perspective for me, because I realized, okay, there's things going on here which I simply cannot and will not be able to understand. And so I surrendered into that place of not knowing. It's that place of not needing to know, really. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges for all of us, is to be able to live in this place of not knowing, instead of reaching for answers, reaching for certainty, reaching for some idea that we know, that we are the ones that we know the truth, that we have the truth. And one of the things I noticed throughout the last 10 months is how much argument there's been going on. Like, this is what's happening. No, this is what's happening. No, we should trust this. We shouldn't trust that. It's like everybody thinks that they have the answer. Well, none of us actually have the answer. We don't know. And I think we are all being called now to be able to surrender into that place of not knowing, to recognize that we're part of something so much bigger, so much more intelligent than we are, and that it is unfolding. Life is unfolding. It may appear that humanity has destroyed everything to the point of collapse. Well, maybe that's true. Maybe we are at the point of collapse. Maybe we're already collapsing. But I know now, absolutely, in my heart and soul, that life will prevail. And it may not be in my lifetime. We may, it's, I think part of this constant shift, as well as falling in love with the earth, as well as trusting the intelligence of life, is also about recognizing that there's a sort of deep time unfolding going on here, that we are in the process of, we are part of the process of evolution. And so we can't expect, there's so many of us, like all my life, have been wanting to bring about positive change, but it may not happen. I know it probably won't happen in my lifetime. I don't have that many years left to go. My hair is grey now, it's like, I'm not going to be here too much longer. And so I can't necessarily expect to see the changes that I would like to see in my lifetime. But that doesn't mean to say that anything is wasted. Nothing is wasted, because we're living in this evolution, this unfolding of consciousness, and consciousness goes on. So this was the place that I found to rest in during the lockdown, this place of trust in something much bigger, a much bigger unfolding, a much deeper sense of time, in which I knew we have a part to play. And I think that's where the responsibility comes in, because I talked about this for myself, feeling all the way through that I'm so privileged to be living where I do, and to be kind of really on the edge of the chaos. But there's a responsibility that goes with that privilege. And that is the responsibility to contribute whatever we can, even though we may not see the fruits of our actions. So that's my little tuppence worth for the day. I'd love to hear what you have to say about any of that, and what kind of changes of consciousness you've been noticing. And I'll talk more about that in the next one, because when consciousness shifts, our identity also shifts, and that would be the next stage for me, was how I actually came to understand and to feel stabilized in this new consciousness. So more tomorrow or the next day. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye.